President Cyril Ramaphosa will this morning deliver the keynote address at the National Commemoration of Human Rights Day in Sharpeville, just outside Johannesburg. The event will include a remembrance of the 1960 Sharpeville Massacre, when apartheid police shot and killed protesters who were marching peacefully against discriminatory pass laws. The President will join the family of the victims of the massacre in a wreath-laying ceremony within the hour. All right, we'll bring you that in just a moment, but we've got our team watching developments very closely for you throughout the course of the day. That includes our reporter Samkele Maseko, who's been joining us, helping us build up to this particular address. But at the moment, there's a briefing, I understand, taking place. Let's listen in.
From the gains of freedom in 1994.
Mr. Zibi, when you look at some of the atrocities that people are facing, lack of water, sewage running through the streets of Mfuleni, what are some of the main priorities that these people of this area must take from a Rise Mzansi perspective, and how we are going to resolve their challenges?
So the most urgent need in the country that a lot of people are feeling is actually hunger. It really is a very serious problem, and that is one of the reasons that food security and providing food and ways of getting food for ordinary people is really important. That is the first thing. The second thing, though, is that we have a government that is neglectful. The reason our water infrastructure is such as it is because this government has neglected building dams. It has neglected replacing the pipes in South Africa's cities and towns, all of which originated in the 1800s and the early 1900s. They've done nothing to replace that infrastructure. The outcome is that people are going to die. So local and regional infrastructure is one of the priorities of Rise Mzansi.
These people perished in 1960. Subsequent to that, 180 were injured. There were many others who perished. Go to areas such as Langa as well. When you look at the rich history that these people fought for, this freedom that we enjoy today, would they be proud of what has transpired in the Vaal, which used to be the industrial hub of the country? Just as Metal, which used to be ESCO, sold by government, is threatening to close down its doors due to lack of water, lack of electricity, lack of services.
Samkele, you merely need to drive here. You saw that the streets coming to this memorial, which is supposed to be a sacred place in South African history, were only done this week because the president is coming. Otherwise, there are no streets to speak of. And if this government and this municipality cannot even pave the roads, what is the chance that they're going to do a little bit more? Let me tell you two more things that are happening in this area. This is an environmentally sensitive area. You've got the Vaal River and the Vaal Dam. This place is now notorious for sewerage flowing into people's homes and flowing into the river and polluting the water sources of the people. That is also neglect. The last one is the corruption that is killing jobs in this area. You cannot have investment, especially by large companies, when the municipality is collapsing around them. At Rise Mzansi, we've said this time and time and time again.
Who do you go into a coalition then?
We will make those decisions after the election. We have seen this discussion about who you're going to go into a coalition with. You need to get the votes, and with the mandate that you've got from the South African people, you enter into coalition negotiations. However, we know this. We are not making deals with corrupt people who have destroyed this country. If the South African people do not give the ANC a majority, Rise Mzansi will not resurrect the ANC from the dead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Songezo Zibi. That is Mr. Songezo Zibi, the leader of Rise Mzansi, which is essentially speaking about how the generation of 1960 that perished in Sharpeville, shot down by the apartheid government, they came to lay down their wreaths here, which is a very solemn moment in the history of the country. The President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, will also be making his way to this specific area, which has faced many issues of sewage running through the streets, lack of water provision in the area, lack of jobs, companies which in this area used to be an industrial hub. There are lots of challenges, but there's also talk of human rights that are no longer being violated, saying that the government will be rolling out issues of the national health insurance. There is access to basic education as well. There is free education in the country. The missing middle is also being catered for, which some of the many residents of this area fall part of that category of the missing middle, not being able to get government funding and also not being able to afford schooling for their kids, saying that the government is intervening within that specific area. Panyaza Lusufi saying that they've identified 40 badly arid roads within this specific area, which they are helping to construct.
Yeah, and Samkele, of course, and I suppose you've already touched on this in one way or the other, but there's going to be a desperate need from people in around the Vaal Triangle where you are to get the president to move beyond just platitudes and lip service and start speaking to ways in which their material conditions can be changed, so that a day like this for them is not like any other day, but is steeped in such significance because they see their lives changing.
Indeed, and the president is essentially going to have a tough task when he addresses the residents of this area to speak of their immediate triple challenges that they are facing: poverty, inequality, underdevelopment, lack of jobs in the area as well, and the reindustrialization of the Vaal Triangle in order to change the people's lives. As they speak about the Black Industrialist Program, as they speak about the creation of jobs, these are the immediate tasks that they've got to undertake to make sure that factories and companies such as ArcelorMittal are given the necessary water that they need in order to run their factories. The number of factories, the number of other industries that are within this area, they need to have those services in order for them to be able to do their jobs. But as I show you that the president will be arriving shortly here, the premier of the province, Panyaza Lusufi, has just gone out to go and receive the president. He will ultimately come here to the memorial site in Sharpeville to lay that particular wreath. Ayanda.
Yeah, the real concern, of course, is that communities like Sharpeville, I think many residents will agree, they feel forgotten on any other day. And, you know, suddenly come the 21st of March, there's just so much attention. And I suppose it's a bit of a bitter pill for them to swallow as well. This idea that there's so much of a show and tell on the 21st of March, but on any other day, finding or getting the audience of the president would prove difficult, if not completely impossible.
Indeed, and they do feel as if they are neglected and they are forgotten, particularly when you look at the last time the president was here was during that presidential imbizo that he embarks on. He did come to Mfuleni to listen to the residences of Mfuleni, but this specific area of Sharpeville may not get the particular attention of the president that they would like to engage with the president to speak to him on some of the challenges that they face. When we were coming in, you could see that the roads were being fixed as part of those 40 bad roads that are there within this area that the Premier has embarked on trying to fix. The President has decided to take that presidential imbizo as his listening campaign to the residents of South Africa, noting that he's going to Ekurhuleni next week. Subsequent to that, the last presidential imbizo will take place in Kuruman in the Northern Cape, where he will be listening to South Africans, particularly trying to formulate their much needed needs, their challenges that they are facing, the interventions that government need to make, and also the district development model champions know what they need to do in specific areas. For instance, if you were to take the Pujanala district in the Northwest Province, Gwede Mantashe is the district development model champion in that specific area. You've seen him going to areas such as Madibeng, challenging those specific areas, working with the people to try and get the people to work within the mines in that area, to get the mines to assist the people as well in those specific areas. You've also had the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Thembinka Dimeng, championing the district development model, championing municipalities, government, and all three spheres of government, local, provincial and national, to all work together in order to resolve the challenges of the people.